The fallout from the 3 paragraphs that I mentioned and others has been immediate and widespread. One priest in America wrote on a blog and said this. He said, here is an example. Twice in the last week, I have had to deal with Catholics in irregular marriages. An irregular marriage is one that does not line up with the canons of the church for whatever reason. One woman married outside the church and told me that she thought it was now okay for her to come to communion because, quote, the Pope has changed all those old rules, period, close quote. Another man has divorced his wife and is living with another woman. He also assured me very confidently that it is now fine for him to come to communion because, quote, Pope Francis has changed the rules, close quote. I know you mean well, Holy Father, that's referring to the Pope. I know you mean well, Holy Father, and I admire and like you, but this process on which you have led us is not helping. I have spent much of the last few weeks grieving the state of our nation, the state of the world. The cover story on The Economist last week had 2 men holding hands talking about how great it is that all over the world there are these massive strides forward for the homosexual movement, and then there's these little pockets of resistance. But to see equivocation, to see what some people believe was a collapse of resistance, certainly there was with certain members of the Catholic hierarchy in the Vatican last week, is truly demoralizing. To see the couple in Idaho being threatened with jail of evangelical ministers if they don't perform same-sex marriage. To see the interview on CNN with the Hillsong pastor in New York City, and I love Hillsong music, but where he refuses to publicly take a stand regarding homosexuality. We're being overrun. And fear, the fear of man's opinion, the fear of the hatred of our enemies and the enemies of the gospel has so gripped the hearts of Christian leaders from many denominations that resistance is collapsing. And so I end this episode with the sober encouragement to you that from whatever denomination you're from, in whatever area you can make a difference, take a stand. Be gracious to the people who are struggling with this particular sin. This is very personal to me. My late son was an active homosexual. So I know the stress it puts on families. But I encourage you to take a stand for what is true and just and offer true mercy to those who are trapped in this sin, and hope that truth and righteousness will be reestablished in the public square.